Hello, Jereshia. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Now, you have a course that came out, Fearless with Facebook, right? And, our mutual friend Liz went through it. She has said so many great things about the program. And I know that you've been using Facebook really strategically. There was an algorithm change that just came out just it was this week, I think, or last week. And so a lot of people have been, what the crap? What am I going to do with my Facebook? And so I know that you have some strategies, whether, despite the algorithm or not, these strategies are so awesome. And it's going to make you feel a little bit less all tense, I guess, around Facebook. I know that it can be a little bit tense marketing on Facebook sometimes. So she's just going to lay out a really awesome strategy that we can copy and paste. It's going to be great.
Yes.
So I feel like we should start with Facebook Live. Let's start there. Where does that play a role in our business?
So I feel as if you're not leveraging Facebook Lives consistently on a regular basis in your business, you're really truly doing your business a disservice, especially with the new Facebook algorithm and some of the other things going on in the Facebook world, period. Facebook platform actually gives preference to video, but more particularly live video content over pre-uploaded videos or post, like just standard stagnant image post or text post. So if you just do a video in itself, I think it's about a 6 times more in organic engagement that you'll typically get with a live video. I know sometimes people freak out, like if I do live video, nobody's showing up live, it's terrible,
Yeah.
I'm talking to myself. I like to say, if you're doing a pre-recorded video, you're talking to yourself anyways. So you might as well go live, and somebody might pop up, somebody might not. But I'd say about like 95% of my even viewership comes in the replay anyways.
Right, me too.
So there's things that you can do to help get more live viewers when you go live, but don't fret about the fact that nobody's showing up live necessarily when you do it. But I think Facebook video is like, if you're not using it, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, in my opinion.
Totally.
It's just such I think it just brings back, and I think even this plays into the Facebook algorithm. I think the only reason why people are probably freaking out about the algorithm is the platform is really meant for making sure that the user experience is the highest that it can be.
Yeah.
So it's a social platform, so we can connect with the people that we already know, like, and trust, to connect with new people. And I just think if you're doing live video, it creates an opportunity for you to just be human online, and for you to create that organic, authentic, just natural engagement like we would if you just walk up to somebody at Starbucks. Well, long story short, I think everybody should be using video.
Yes, totally agree. Now, should we have kind of like a weekly show format, or how consistent should we be with it? What does it look like whenever it gets into our schedule?
Yeah. So for the first year and a half of me being in business, which got me to a point where I was able to get to 6 figures, I had no consistent Facebook Live show. Meaning, when I think of consistency, I think of I'm on Facebook Live every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time religiously. I think it's more about being high frequency, more so than like consistency in the sense of like day, time, location. At least that for me is what worked when I was starting off. So I was working my 9 to 5, working 40 plus hours a week. Like, just me committing to being anywhere outside of my 9 to 5 on the same day and time was just not realistic. Right. But I think the biggest thing is, what can you commit to where people can just grow to become expectant to see that of you. So that for me was like doing 2 to 3 Facebook Lives. They weren't the same date and time, but it was high frequency. So people knew to kind of expect that she's going to be live, this week or next. Like, they just grew to expect the inconsistency of it. But because I was showing up frequently, to the viewer, it really didn't seem like, they didn't even notice the fact that it wasn't at the same date or time.
Right.
So I think if you're just getting started off, or like the idea of doing this at the same date and time is too overwhelming for you, or your schedule just doesn't permit it, I think that's completely okay. That's how I was, and I had no worries. The thing that can assist you with that, though, if you are doing it infrequent, is if you have any budget to even just boost a video. I would do like a $5 boost every time I did a Facebook Live, so the video would still kind of be promoted for the next week until I did my next live. And that kind of created some more consistency and viewership. So that would be a little feedback there. If you're at a more advanced stage or you do have more of that flexibility in your schedule to show up the same date and time, I'm actually testing out a Facebook Live show now, where I show up every Tuesday at 1 p.m. and I pre-schedule what the content topics are going to be a month in advance. I'm incorporating messenger bots to help with reminders. I'm actually seeing a lot more live engagement during the show because people know that it's happening. People can put it in their schedule and they're getting reminders via messenger to show up. So I think those are both routes to take. Just identify where you're at along your journey and pick one that you can commit to.
Right. And so also I've noticed that you do I don't know what you would call it. Just the Facebook reminder. Is it you're creating an event? Is that what it is?
Yes, exactly. So I've been doing, again, because I have a preset showtime now, I'll have a Facebook Live event that I'll put out at the beginning of the month for all the seasons. So for all the episodes of that month. And then I send out a Facebook Messenger bot the 15 minutes before my Facebook Live goes live. And then I also send out a reminder the day after saying, hey, if you missed my live, here's a link directly to the video, plus here's the button if you want to download the opt-in that's associated with the video. But the live events have been super helpful because now it's like, again, an additional reminder. Because if they like your page and like the event and sign up for your messenger bot, that's 3 notifications they're going to get about you going live now. So that really enhances the opportunity if they catch you live during the live stream or if they make sure to watch the replay.
Right. So your messenger bot is connected to the event that you are creating on your Facebook page.
So kind of. I make inside of my event reminders, you know how there's like a location tab? So instead of the location tab being blank because the live video hasn't aired, so there is no place, you could put, if you're not using messenger bots yet, you could make the link like actually your Facebook page and tell people to like your Facebook page so they get a reminder. But my location now is a bit.ly link to my messenger bot landing page where it says if you want to get a reminder, click here, and it takes them to a landing page to sign up for my messenger bot list.
Nice.
So that now is a location for every one of my events. And I think that's, again, if you're not doing bots, no worries. Just make the link to your Facebook page so they can like the page. But that's been helping tremendously.
Oh, that's fantastic. And, there's something about them getting a reminder and them actually showing up. I think that's awesome. For so long, I'm definitely more Instagram heavy than Facebook, but on Instagram, I would go live randomly and I would have, maybe 10 to 20 people show up. But it was crazy when I went on Instagram stories and just maybe 6 to 7 hours before I went live, I said, hey, I'm going to be live at this time. People put it in their calendars manually to show up. And I thought, okay, I have got to get my crap together and I cannot just randomly go live all the time. I really need to schedule this out because people do care. If you've built a community, people want to be there. People want to see you live. So yeah, I love that.
I agree. And I think like a workaround for Facebook if like you can't, if you don't have this, like, again, scheduled out thing. Because, again, when I was working for the past year and a half, there's no way I would have been able to do that. Or I would have committed and didn't follow through. And that's definitely not what you want to do.
Right.
But now you can go into Facebook and create a reminder for your Facebook Live ahead of time. So even like you said, a couple hours before, if I know that when I get home, I'm going to do a live at 8, maybe at noon on my lunch break, I can make a quick little Facebook reminder, on my platform saying, hey guys, I'm going to go live tonight at 8:00. Here's the reminder. Click here and you'll get a notification when it goes live. And that's all built into Facebook's platform. So I love the fact that you did that in your stories and like, hey guys, I'm going to go live later today. So even if it is more sporadic, you can still give some sort of heads up so people can be there and show up live for you too.
I love that. Okay, so once the live video is officially over, how do we use the replay to not only make more money from our lives or get them into our email marketing funnel and grab their email, which is great, but how do we even repurpose that content?
So this is where it's baller. I'm all about how can I do less but increase my impact, do less but earn more income. And the strategy that I'm using for this year is one, I think to make sure, it's a lot of people I've noticed will make Facebook Live content, which will be great, but then they have no call to action. They're not actually telling their people, hey, go do this. So make sure that no matter what, when you publish any video or do anything, that inside of the caption of that Facebook Live is a clear description of what they're going to be talking about. But then two, that there's at least a one-liner saying, don't just say, go join my email list. Because if you're a random viewer, it's like, well, why should I just go join your email list? What's in it for me? So make sure that it's clear as to, like, it's understanding why are you asking them to go do whatever it is you're asking them to do, whether it's scheduling a discovery call or signing up to get some awesome baller bonus that you have for them as a PDF, but make that clear as to, like, why they should care. But when it comes to repurposing content, the thing I'm doing now is I'm taking my Facebook live streams and I'm repurposing them 3 different ways. So my Facebook Lives now are being automatically uploaded to YouTube. So I use a tool called Repurpose. It's $12 a month. It is like magic. And I put it on, you can set up a flow where every time you publish a Facebook Live, it'll automatically take your Facebook Live and upload it to your YouTube account without you touching anything. Whatever your Facebook Live caption is, it'll import that into YouTube, into the description, and into, like, the title of your YouTube video. Magic. And I need to get better at this, and I plan on getting better at this, but, like, I have not looked at my YouTube page. But I've got 2 paid clients in the past month since I've been using Repurpose, and they told me they found me on YouTube.
That is fantastic.
And all it is my face. Girl, I was like, I should probably go look at my Facebook page, make a banner, like, put tags in the video.
Yeah. Well, right now, I just have an assistant that does that. So I didn't even know that Repurpose was even a thing. Because I'm, like, downloading the MP4s and, like, putting them in the drive. She's downloading them, putting them on the YouTube channel, creating the covers, no descriptions. That's what's happening right now. So, Repurpose. Okay, I'm going to put that in the show notes so everyone can go with me to the page.
So if you got $12 a month, you can do one direct flow. Now, let's say you have a podcast. I know this is a little bit off topic for the strategy, but still with Repurpose, since you have your podcast, it can also take your podcast audio. It'll make a really cute audio graphic and video. It'll turn your audio into, like, a cute video, and you can upload that automatically to YouTube, but without doing anything. So that's one way I'm repurposing it. I'm not sure if you've heard of the book 4. They just came out with it this year, but the book's amazing. I think it's basically it's talking about if you're not on the 4 major platforms, if you're if you're a business period and you're not leveraging the 4 major platforms that exist out here, your business will die in the next decade. Yeah. And it's basically leveraging Facebook, leveraging Google, which would be like YouTube, leveraging Apple, which would be like iTunes, and leveraging Amazon, having a book or a ebook or something like that on that platform. And because those 4 companies are, like, taking over the world basically right now.
Yes, and also real quick, if you have a podcast, you can also get it synced to Amazon Alexa, so that would kind of count as that Amazon too. Yeah, because I have it to where if you can ask Alexa to play the Market Beautifully podcast, and she'll actually just pull up the latest episode for you. So yeah, if you have a podcast, do that.
So great gem there. So it's like when I was thinking about this strategy for this year, it's like, how can I start expanding my reach on those 4 platforms without necessarily having to create a bunch of new content? Because it's like, who has time to make? We don't have it.
No.
So I'm like, take my Facebook Live, automatically sync it to YouTube for $12 a month. Check. Then take the Facebook Live. And also, I'm taking it to YouTube. I'm going to be stripping the audio and turning it into a podcast. And at first I was a little hesitant on doing this, but, like, if you think of, like, a Gary Vee, for example, most of his content is not him sitting down at a microphone recording interviews. I mean, he has that as a component, but most of his podcast content is him speaking on stage or him, walking through the city and them recording him. And so you can really just take your Facebook content, strip the audio, and now turn that into a podcast episode.
Yeah. We have episodes on this podcast where it's like that.
So that's what I'm doing to hit that Apple platform.
Oh, I have a question real quick. So before you move on, okay, so how are you creating the audio graphic? What does that look like? Are you using the Repurpose app to do that too? Or is it a different app that you're using to make that audio where you strip the audio into that graphic?
So that part I'm outsourcing just because how I am in Facebook Live. I will talk in live, having to engage with people.
Yeah.
So I'm taking this for this go round. I'm actually hiring an editor off of Upwork, and he's going to be chopping my Facebook Lives to get it a little bit cleaner.
Cool.
I do have some podcast episodes that are up on my old podcast where it's literally verbatim off of what it is for Facebook. So you'll hear me talking to people in the comments on the audio.
Right.
So I'm going to see if people care. And if people don't, after a couple episodes, you know, we might just go back to just kind of using Repurpose and stripping it and just adding everything, but just being more conscious when I'm talking on my Facebook Lives to make sure that I'm not doing too much back and forth live.
Right.
So you can go either way there. If you have a budget to edit it, edit it. If you don't, I would just say download the audio, upload that bad boy to and repurpose as audio straight to podcast, and don't even worry about it for now.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's number 2. And then number 3 is if you open up your Google Doc folder or open up a Google Doc, there's a voice memo feature. So when I go to bed at night, I will hit play on my Facebook Live and hit play on Google Voice Memo, and it will transcribe my Facebook Live video for me.
Jereshia! Oh my gosh. You are making me so happy right now. You have no idea. Oh, that is so exciting.
So now that becomes my email newsletters. So if I have the opportunity to transcribe and clean it up and make it a long form email newsletter, or that could now be a blog post, I will do that. Otherwise, I will just make a short email saying like a 1 paragraph summary of what I talked about in the Facebook Live. I'll take a screenshot of the Facebook Live image that I had from the live video, put that in the email, and just say, hey guys, go watch the replay. So those are 2 different ways to do it, but it's really allowing you to take that one piece of content now, and instead of creating multiple streams of giving all from the same source, and it's opening you up to new audiences. It's to me, it's baller. And I'm like, I'm not creating anything new. So that's how I'm repurposing Facebook Live content. And it's, like I said, 2 paid clients in the last month off of YouTube, and it's 18 days into the new year. I've never looked at the YouTube channel. That's
crazy. That's awesome. Man, I'm so excited for you. And I'm excited for me because you know what I'm doing tonight? I am going to open a Google Doc and I'm going to open my Facebook Live. Man, that is so awesome. Okay, those are really great strategies that, and most of them I have not heard ever. So that's awesome. I love it.
Oh, good. And they're super affordable because I know like budget conscious. Hiring a VA to like transcribe for you, or like you said, manually download and re-upload it, that can get into the hundreds a month easily.
Right.
We mentioned stuff. Google is free. Repurpose is $12 a month. And if you want to sync multiple accounts, it's $20 a month. But that's still.
Okay, so whenever it comes to our Facebook pages, I think I definitely am one that gets caught up in this as well, because with the new algorithm change, obviously our posts that are getting little engagement are actually hurting our Facebook page ranking, which means, and you know, honestly, that's most everyone's Facebook page post, because if your post doesn't show up in the feed, which most times it doesn't, the people that like your page, then you're not going to get engagement. And then because you don't get engagement, your Facebook page is going to look really, really bad. And not just for whenever people go there. I mean, like, even to Facebook. Your brownie points are gonna deplete so quick. So we obviously want to avoid that. But then what are you gonna do with your Facebook page? If you can't post and you don't boost, if they don't want to boost, then what do we do?
I say you need to be doing video.
Yeah.
Like, I barely make actual posts on my Facebook page. Like, you'll very rarely see me post an image or post an article or share a blog. I mean, I will sometimes, like if they're really relevant articles, I'll share it on my page, but it's not common for me. Most of my content, well, like 95% of my content on my page is strictly my live videos. So I think that's a huge thing there. Like, and I think understanding, you know, Instagram, for example, you got to put your posts up. They need to be super pretty for you to get your engagement and get your interaction. Facebook page doesn't necessarily work the same way. So I think the biggest thing there is, one, to understand that your Facebook page is only set up for you to get 2% engagement. And that's just built into the algorithm. Why? Because your Facebook page is typically more for business, and it's a pay to play world. So my recommendation there is, like, I wouldn't even focus too much on putting like actual posts on your page. Just how can you do a video once a week or once every other week that's live, because you will get, 6 to 10 times more organic engagement just because it's a live video. I would just do that. I wouldn't even like really too much worry about the posts. And then again, like when you're on your live video, how can you make sure that you are getting engagement? And this is more of I teach this a little bit more in depth on Fearless with Facebook, but a nugget I always like to share is how are you making sure that you're creating opportunities for your audience to engage? So right when you start your Facebook Live, think about it. Most people drop out of a Facebook Live within like 10 seconds. If they get on and it's like, this isn't relevant, I'll keep scrolling. So within the first 10 seconds, before you start talking about how awesome you are or who you are, like immediately share what is the value that you're going to get if you keep watching. So it's like, if people were a Facebook Live right now, for example, and people are scrolling and they saw the title of what this was like, oh, this is interesting. Very first things that maybe would come out of our mouths was, how can you leverage Facebook to build that, to hit 6 figures this year? Keep listening if this is, something you're interested in. It's like, oh, that at least caught their attention longer than the 3 seconds. So now you still got them on. Then it's like, ask a question where they can give a quick and easy answer in the comments. Don't ask, like, what is the mission of your business? Because then if they're driving or if they are, just don't feel like giving you like a 3-sentence answer, they'll probably opt out of even engaging.
Right.
But it's like, you could ask a question, are you using Facebook Live video in your content strategy? Put a, hands up emoji if you are, or put the thumbs down emoji if you're not. That's super simple. They can just click one button on their text to engage. So I think that's something that I notice a lot of my students aren't doing and they're learning to do because of the course, is how are you creating opportunities for your viewers and also addressing the replay viewers? Like say, hey guys, thanks for everybody who's showing up live. Hey, everybody who's catching this in the replay, because most of your viewers are going to be in the replay, just talk to them. Create those opportunities for them to engage. But the more engagement you get quicker, that faster it boosts up your, it helps you play out in the algorithm. So I would, before you even dive into who you are and all that, why should somebody care to continue listening, and then give them an opportunity to engage in the comments, like right out of the gate. And then start talking about, hey, if you're new to me, I'm such and such, this is what I do, and then continue on with your content. So that will overall help with like algorithm visibility and engagement on your page. But again, I would start doing more live video.
Awesome. And so from there, let's say we have a Facebook group. Would we share our live within our Facebook group? How does that work?
Yes. So I get this question all the time. Where am I supposed to post my live videos? 100% of the time, your live videos should be posted on your Facebook page. And then from the page, I normally like to have 2 devices up and going. So I've been recently starting to do my Facebook Lives on my computer, and then I'll open up my phone or open up a new tab on my computer and share the live videos immediately when I go live while I'm on the live camera. Everybody can't multitask like that. That's okay. Or maybe you don't have it set up for your desktop. If you have it on your phone, are you able to open up your laptop while you have a phone on like a phone stand and share it immediately? Because that will help get you more live engagement. But that's what I always recommend, just because when you do get to a point in your business where you're able to start leveraging more Facebook ads and doing more of the pay-to-play type of world, you can make all of your audiences based off your live viewers or based off of video views. So I always say be building those audiences, even if you're not at a place in your business yet where you're able to start spending and paying to play. Because when it does time come to do that, you have all these warm audiences already built up.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the feature, even you being active on Instagram story and Instagram period, you can create now Facebook audiences of people who've watched your Instagram stories.
Yeah.
And so I'd be doing them regardless, even if you're not ready to pay to do that all in your business yet. So that would be my recommendation. Everything starts on the page, and then you share it from there onto your personal, into your groups.
Yeah. I love that new feature. Since I am all about Instagram stories, I'm kind of obsessed with it. So, yes. Okay, so let's say,
fun, though.
Let's say that we have a Facebook group. So how do we use Facebook group to scale our business in a non-time consuming way? Now, obviously, Facebook groups are time consuming just because that's the nature of Facebook groups. But what are some strategies that make that a little less hard?
Yeah. So one is I use my Facebook group as an email opt-in. And this, again, is what I teach in Fearless with Facebook. But this is the thing that accounts for probably 30% of my email list.
Okay. Is
every time I do a Facebook Live, I will direct people to some sort of opt-in. And before I even had the opportunity to create those cool PDF opt-ins that we all have now, I would send people to a landing page to join my free accountability group, which was my Facebook group. So I think if you can use your Facebook group in a way where it has a very targeted purpose, and then create a landing page and treat it just like an opt-in. You know, tell people that they need to go to this landing page and give you their email address to get access to your private group. Now you're growing your email list and you're growing a community of people on Facebook. So that's a win-win. So that's one thing that I always recommend in that sequence is get as much email, use that as an opt-in.
Totally.
And with your Facebook group, make sure that you're leveraging those like 3 questions that you can get, that you can ask somebody before you give them access to your group. And I use this again to get much more like customer insight on where people's struggles are, what they need, how they might have found me. Because now if I know what their biggest struggles are, I can now tailor the content that I put in my group to actually support and help them. But it also helps me make better offers. It helps me sell better. Because now I know what their struggles is because they literally just told me.
Yeah.
So create those opportunities for you to listen. I would definitely leverage that. But now when it comes in, okay, now they're in the group, now what? I pre-theme and pre-post about 3 posts a week, like a accountability Monday. What are your goals for the week? Share your wins and like where are you struggling or something like that.
Right.
And I make these captions, like image captions, themed like thread. Cause I don't know why I can't talk. Themed thread.
Yeah.
I do 2 or 3 of those a week. And I'll make those at the beginning of the year and schedule them out for the entire year. So now especially this helped me when I worked because I'm always at least posting in the group, even if I'm not physically present. And those threads are, again, tied to the overall purpose of the group and tied to what their needs are. So that to me, I get the highest level of engagement on the days that I have my themed thread posts. So I pre-schedule those bad boys out for the entire year. So no matter what, there's engagement going on in the group.
Oh, wow. What
something
a relief.
else that is
to have it like done for the rest of the year.
It's the best. For the entire year, I do it. It normally takes like 3 hours, and now I have a VA assisting me with that. But it normally takes 3 hours to get those, to just sit in Hootsuite, copy and paste the caption and put it all in there. But now you're done for the rest of the year. So batch creating as much as you can, I think is super helpful. I think another thing that has helped with engagement is I recognize people as they join my group. So I think if you have to have a certain number of people in your group to leverage this feature, like 100 people. Before I was doing it manually. But every week I'll accept new people into the group. And then all the new people that were joined, I would do a post saying like, hey, welcome. We're so happy that you're in this community space. This is a little bit more about who we are. Pop in the comments and like share your story or do a Facebook Live introducing yourself. And I would tag every single one of those new people in the group. And they felt like, I don't know, I think they felt happy just even being recognized.
Right.
So I do that, and it's something super simple. And now if you have more than 100 people in the group, there's a button inside of your Facebook group that will automatically make a post and tag all the people that are new. So you don't have to manually go and do it anymore. So that's something else I do to help maintain engagement. I just do that once a week. But other than that, I'm probably in my Facebook group maybe 15, 30 minutes a week.
Wow. Just
responding to people on the weekly threads and to welcome people into the group and to send out that post saying, hey, thanks for joining.
That's really impressive. Nice.
But I got one more tip that I do like once a month.
Okay.
So, because I know this all helps, because I think we get in these Facebook groups and it's just like, how can you just make it more real, more human? What would you do if this were like a monthly meetup, in person? But once a month, I'll go into my analytics of my Facebook group, and you can go through your analytics and look at who are the highest engaged people in your group. And I will shout them out once a month saying, promote yourself in the thread below. Thank you so much for being an active, engaged person. Thank you so much for offering value. Thank you so much for answering other people's questions. We see you. Like, tell us all about how awesome you are and let us know where we can like learn more about working with you. And they geek out over that. Like, what? You noticed I was engaged? I get to promote myself? Or even sometimes for those people that were super engaged, I would send them a private message and give them free like 30-minute coffee chats with me. just for rewarding them for being engaged. And now that I did that, those people are like rock stars in the Facebook group.
Oh, I bet.
So those are some quick tips. And that's just, if you had the time to do it. But to me, I think it's, if you break that out, it's maybe like 2 or 3 hours a month. If you actually do those phone calls too, it will skyrocket your engagement.
Yeah, man, that is such a great tip. I love that. Okay, so now let's say if we don't have a group of our own, how do we leverage Facebook groups even though we don't have a group?
Yes. So one thing that I do, and I'll make sure to include this, give this over to you.
Okay.
Because I like to make sure, first is like I like to do a social media cleanse. Most people, I'm scared to even ask some of the viewers, how many Facebook groups are you currently in? I like to dwindle that down to like 15 to 20.
Yeah.
We won't put anybody on blast, but I like to narrow down the focus of where can I be present in other people's communities. Mm-hmm. And I'd say I get down to like 15 to 20 groups max. And then I have on my schedule 30 minutes a week where I just go into other people's Facebook groups and I just serve. So I will go through the threads in the Facebook groups and just cheer people on if they're celebrating a win. Or if my area of expertise is strategy or Facebook and all that, I'll use the search tab in those Facebook groups and type in Facebook or type in strategy or type in revenue. And then people who've asked questions around what my zone of genius is, I'll go in and like offer a pretty substantial response to their question. So I think in every Facebook group I'm in, I'll always make sure to do an introductory post saying, hey guys, I'm so excited to be in this group. This is who I am. This is why I'm joined this group. This is what I'm looking to get out of it. Thanks so much for creating it. So just how can you be visible in other people's groups, but just be of service? And that's what, for the first 8 to 12 months in my business, that's all I did. And that's where I met my business besties. That's how I got guest experts to my membership group. Like that's how I got some of my first paid clients, just being of service in other people's community spaces. And just even though some people may never interact with you, they keep seeing, if they see your face on a regular basis popping up just giving, it's like, oh, she's really awesome. Let me actually go follow her. Then they start watching your videos. Then they binge watch all your old videos and they end up becoming a client. So I dedicate 30 minutes a week where all I do is just go into those 15 Facebook groups that I've identified that this is where my audience is. This is where it feels like home to me. And I just serve and support other people's spaces.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, so I like that you said that you have a certain amount of time. I think that's important because for me, I can get sucked down the Facebook rabbit hole so quickly. And so I like that you said 15 to 30 minutes. Like, yeah, it's terrible. So let's say every week, 30 to 45 minutes, and you put that in your Google Calendar, you block it off, you set a timer. Once the timer goes off, you are no longer allowed. Just push that X on the Facebook, and then move on to a task that's moving your business forward that you already have set up in your Asana. Like that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so I have my weeks batched out where like Fridays are typically follow-up. And I put all of my follow-up stuff on Fridays. So like follow up in the Facebook groups, follow up with clients via email, stuff like that. So it took time for me to get in the rhythm of that because, girl, don't we all get sucked into the Facebook thread?
Yes.
But that to me is like, at least, you have dedicated time where all you're doing is just being of service and being of service and just being present and showcasing your expertise.
Yeah.
So that's something I highly recommend if you don't have your own Facebook group. Like, how can you just be of service in other people's groups and be visible?
Perfect. I like that. So how does this whole thing look like whenever we fit it into our day-to-day life? How does it fit into our schedule, and how can we kind of plan it all out in advance?
Yeah. So one is, I think, what are the opportunities for you to batch create? So if that's your weekly theme post for your Facebook group or batch creating out what your Facebook Live episodes are going to be. First, it's like just because especially when I was working and had limited time, I would just pick one day out of every quarter to kind of batch create for the next quarter. Or like I said, if you had the theme post and you kind of know your stuff down, batch create it for the entire year and just knock it out.
Love it.
From there, it's like if you're doing a Facebook Live a week, I normally will try to, dedicate like an hour a week for just Facebook Live. I can be a bit long-winded on my lives.
Me too.
Because I like to answer everybody's questions. So normally I'm on there for like an hour, 40 minutes to an hour. So I like to dedicate time for that. But again, it's like making the strategy before you dive into Facebook. So clean out your Facebook feed, get out of groups that you're not active in, that you're not present in. Start to unfollow people who are not adding substance or value to your overall well-being. And you don't have to unfriend them, but unfollow so they're not consuming your timeline. So I like to do that cleanse first, just to clean things up. So when you do get into Facebook, you don't get like it's a little bit harder for you to get sucked into the whirlwind of like a bunch of crap. Dwindle down your Facebook group. Identify it's like 10 to 15, 15 to 20 groups or so. So I would estimate like an hour a week for Facebook Live. I would get Repurpose, so it'll automatically transcribe that to YouTube for you. After you do your Facebook Live, probably put on your calendar another hour and a half for you to either transcribe it or turn it into an email newsletter. So we're at like 2.5 hours now. And then put 30 minutes on your calendar just to be present in other people's groups. And then probably put maybe another 30 minutes on your calendar to be present in your own group. So we're looking at maybe 3.5 hours a week of that. And you're already on Facebook anyways, more than 3.5 hours a week, the average person is. So now you can just be more strategic with your time that you're currently already on the platform, but now you're approaching it from a much more purposeful standpoint rather than just aimlessly scrolling through.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love how you broke all that down. Thank you. This has been amazing. I've loved all these strategies over Facebook Live, Facebook pages, and Facebook groups. Thanks so much for covering it all. We talked about the Fearless with Facebook program, but how do they actually, you have a waiting list, or is it open right now?
It is going to be open. Well, it's open right now to go on and grab it. So the course is really designed for anybody who is trying to build an audience or a community on the Facebook platform specifically. It's like Liz, our mutual friend, for example. She's been in business for years, but she's never leveraged Facebook strategically. Even in 30 days of being in the course, she's been able to get 300 people in a Facebook group, grow her email list. Like, it's been amazing to see the results. So I say it's for people who are seasoned in business but haven't used Facebook yet, or if you're like brand new in business and you're just trying to figure out like, who are my people? How do I get visible? How do I just start growing my presence? It's perfect for if you're in the just beginning stages too. But really designed to help you grow your email list and get your first paid client in the next 30 days without even having to have a sales page or anything along those lines. So if you go to Jereshia.com and check out the courses and work with me, the content information for Fearless with Facebook is right there.
Perfect.
And we'll make sure to give you the link so you can put it in the show notes too. But thanks for asking.
Yes. Okay. That will definitely be in the show notes. So if you want to stalk her or be in any of her programs, go to the show notes. But what's your Instagram? Jereshia has some really awesome Instagram stories. So.
Oh, thanks. You can find me everywhere online at Jereshia Hawk. So Instagram, Jereshia Hawk, Facebook, Jereshia Hawk, website, Jereshia Hawk. All the good stuff there.
Okay. So thanks so much again for coming on. I've really appreciated it and sharing all your Facebook wisdom.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.